And welcome down to another practice diary video. Now, over the last few weeks, I have been mainly focusing on putting because that's all really I've been able to do. But I've got a little bit of a gap here before my first lesson at the Quest Academy in Lytham, and I'm going to do some chipping. I've done some chipping on and off for the last kind of few months, but I've very much been left-hand dominated. Now today, both hands are going to be on the club because I feel I can do it pretty much pain-free now. I'm only going to be hitting short shots, only out there about 15 yards, and the practice drill that I'm going to be using is super simple, but effective. And I'm going to be working on technique all at the same time. Now what I'm going to be working on is very simple. I'm going to set up a target out there for 20 yards. There's me. I'm going to be hitting small kind of chip slash pitches and trying to land it in the actual shag bag that I'm going to stick out there. Now that's obviously simple enough, and it is. But what I'm also going to do, and one of the ways that I am going to be doing these practice videos, is I'm going to put in the kind of video and in the description below videos are actually already done on the different aspects of this technique. So what I'm going to be doing today is, yes, I'm going to be working on my chipping. I'm going to be working on trying to keep my head and my body nice and still, nice and passive, because it does have a tendency to kind of dip and move around a lot when I'm chipping. But I'm also going to be using much more of the bounce of the club. Now what that means is a shallower takeaway, a shallower angle of attack coming through, and really skimming the club underneath the ball. So less of a steep angle of attack, more of a shallow one, more of a skimming technique. Much used by Jason Day, and I'm actually going to do a video on this as well, and I'll kind of release that in the next few weeks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a full basket of balls, 100 balls. I'm going to march out there about 20 yards, put down a target. It's quite a tight kind of shag bag, and just try and see how many I can pitch in whilst working on technique. It's going to be honing my aim. It's going to be honing my real kind of competitive will to try and get that ball in the hole. A ball in the bag, should I say. And I want to try and set a benchmark for future practice sessions. Easy as that. Let's go. I'm excited to hit some proper shots. Now I've actually left my wedge at home, so I'm going to be using this one. So this King Cobra 60 degree, very similar bounce angle to my wedge. So 60 degree wedge is 60 degree wedge at the end of the day, and yeah, seems quite a nice one. Let me know what you think. Do you use these wedges? Have you used these wedges? Cobra. That was a Cobra. Rather impressively, I managed to get one out of 100. It's pretty good going. I think in hindsight, I mean hindsight's obviously a wonderful thing, but as far as targets go, obviously that was a very small kind of area to go for, so it was less than the size of a basket where the opening is in that particular shag bag. So, or ball dispenser, I can't remember what you call it. It's not quite a shag. What is it called? Ball caddy, I think it's called. So it's quite a small target, and I did get the one in, which I think I managed to get on camera, which is great. Makes myself look a little bit better. But I had a lot of target impacts as well. So I did manage to actually hit the basket and hit the ball caddy quite a lot of times, which is obviously a positive. And then quite a few kind of close ones which just went over the top. Strike-wise felt pretty good. I certainly used what I started to do was kind of get into what I would call my normal chipping pitching setup for a short distance shot like this, and simply just feel that I was using the bounce a little bit more. What I did see today in particular, because the wind's quite a lot left to right today, protected a little bit by a bank on the left hand side of the range, but the ball was moving quite a lot. So what I felt I had to do was almost strengthen the club coming into impact a little bit more to try and keep it straight. And now that actually resulted in a few low ball flies. I adjusted a little bit, started to aim further left and use a very much a Jason Day style, weight very even, hands back level with the ball and skimming it right underneath, and saw some decent results actually, landing in and around quite close, coming up from a much higher trajectory as well. So something I've learned there, something to toy around with about the differences in the setup and exactly the differences in the ball flight they will go. But as far as setting myself a target for next time, 1 out of 100, it can only really get better from there, I hope. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and like I said, this practice diary is an evolving thing, so I will be trying different things as I go on. Hopefully the video links to the techniques that I've been using will help and just give you a little bit more of an indication about what I'm doing. But that's my competitive practice over with for today. I will reconvene and do that, I don't know, maybe later on if I'm still feeling okay. I'll see how my hand feels later on. If it starts aching, then I suppose that's not a bad sign, as long as it doesn't hurt, because I've not used it for so long. I imagine it will ache a little bit. So, we'll see. But thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Follow me on my other social media platforms as well. And let me know what you think about the practice diary. Hopefully you're finding it useful. Hopefully you're doing it yourself as well. Someone referred to this as my Indiana Jones book. I like that. I'll take that.